MSNBC's Morning Joe host Joe Scarborough was visibly shocked when his wife and co-host Mika Brzezinski revealed how high the cost of butter has gotten in the last 4 years. A few weeks ago, somebody who was going to be voting for Kamala Harris came up to me and said, "Oh my God, Trump's going to win. I go to the grocery store, butter is over $3, the former Florida congressman said. I kinda laughed and I said, well, that's kinda reductive, isn't it? I said it to myself," Scarborough continued. "It's $7. I'm just saying it's 7, Brzezinski interrupted. Butter is $7. What, is it framed in gold?" Scarborough replied incredulously, with a look of shock on his face. "It's $7. It depends where you go," Brzezinski stated somberly. A chart displaying NBC exit poll data then appeared on screen, showing that 46% of Americans feel that their economic situation is worse than it was 4 years ago, as Scarborough continued to lament the country's struggle with inflation. "If you look at the cost of groceries, if you look at the cost of gas, if you look at the cost of things compared to 4 years ago, it was a very simple answer for working-class Americans," Scarborough conceded. "Yeah," Brzezinski shot back. Last week, however, the left-leaning anchor was singing a different tune. "The next president inherits a remarkable economy," he said, reading from the front page of an article in the Wall Street Journal on October 31st. Scarborough also went viral back in March for downplaying President Biden's mix-ups of foreign dignitaries and other verbal stumbles, declaring instead that he was intellectually, analytically, the best Biden ever. "I've spent a couple of hours with Joe Biden, sitting, talking," Scarborough said on Morning Joe on March 6, adding that the two spoke about the economy and inflation. "I've said it for years now, he's cogent. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent," he added. "He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been intellectually, analytically." As inflation reached a 40-year high in 2022, Scarborough was also calling for hundreds of billions of dollars more in federal spending. "I'm pretty sure that working-class Americans are sick and tired of oil companies and tech companies and Amazon.com and Occidental Petroleum and Nike and all of these massive corporations over the past 4 years paying zero in taxes," he said in August 2022. A 15% corporate minimum tax rate for highly profitable companies was one of several provisions that made it into the Inflation Reduction Act that Biden signed into law later that month. Scarborough crowed before its passage that the provisions constituted an anti-inflationary package that actually lowers the deficit. Kent Smetters, the faculty director at the nonpartisan Federal Deficit Tracker, the Penn-Wharton budget model, predicted to Reuters months later in June 2023 that the Inflation Reduction Act, instead of reducing the debt, it will add to it, to the tune of $750 billion in 10 years. The Nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget later disagreed with that assessment, noting in a June 2024 analysis that it would lead to a $252 billion reduction. Overall, however, Biden's spending will hike the nation's debt by $4.3 trillion over the next decade, the organization said. With the exclusion of the COVID-related American Rescue Plan, the deficit would still jump $2.2 trillion. High spending can result in surging inflation, according to economists, but the Biden-Harris administration continued to roll out new programs, including hundreds of billions of dollars in student debt cancellation. "Pouring roughly $500 billion of gasoline on the inflationary fire that is already burning is reckless," said Jason Furman, who chaired President Barack Obama's Council of Economic Advisers, warned August 2022.